Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnana-jana Salakaya Sakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamakyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavancha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sakagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sakagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Cham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwabhanu Sutte Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarupya Cha Kripa Sindhivye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Jai Padaka Swami Namine Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayane Gaura Kadadamadaya Nagara Gramadharne Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasadesha Tarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So இன்னைக்கு பகவத்கீதை உண்மையுருவில் I welcome all the devotees who have joined today's Bhagavad-gītā class. Today we are going to see the overview of 18th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā. Before going into the subject, there are some three announcements from our host Raja Prabhu. They have formed a WhatsApp group of all the devotees who have registered for this Gita for Life program, and they will be sending you the WhatsApp link. You can join in that group. If you join in that group, then they can send all the future programs, and you will come to know the whatever other programs planned, activities, etc. And next second announcement is next week, that is June, first week, maybe 5th or 6th, they want to have one session to have a recap of all the 18 chapters, the whole Bhagavad-gītā, a recap of the Bhagavad-gītā, so that we will get a complete picture of Bhagavad-gītā in that session. That will give a good idea of the understanding, to gain better understanding of Bhagavad-gītā. That is planned on the first week end, that is 5th or 6th. The exact date will be informed to you. And the third announcement is we will also be planning in-depth study of Bhagavad-gītā, advanced level of Bhagavad-gītā course. That announcement will also, that information will also be shared with you. Those who are interested can join the advanced learning of Bhagavad-gītā, so that once it is planned, it will be informed to all of you. Hare Krishna. And I think this information will also be shared through chat. Raja Prabhu will be sending you the information in the chat box.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I just shared in the chat also, Prabhuji.
Okay, okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So Hare Krishna, today we will be seeing the overview, summary of the 18th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā. So before going to the 18th chapter, we'll have a quick recap of the 17th chapter. In the 17th chapter, that was on three divisions of faith, divisions of faith. So in this, Krishna emphasized the importance of gunas, modes. So the modes determine our faith, our worship. So these are all influenced by the three gunas. So the three gunas, sattva-gun, raja-gun, and tamo-gun, of course, these three gunas will be present in every one of us, and maybe the ratio or composition may be different. In someone maybe 60% sattva gun, maybe 30% rajo gun, and 10% tamo gun, like that. Maybe another person more of rajas and less of sattva and tamas, or something like that. So it can be each one will have the three gun. So according to the influence of this guna, our the activities, or even the faith, so the type of worship, all these will be varying. So that's Krishna say in the 17th chapter told, those who in the Sattva Gun will worship the demigods, those in the Rajogun they will worship the Asuras, and Tamo Gun will worship ghosts and spirits. And similarly, their faith will also be accordingly changing. And because they have faith in the demigod, so they go to the demigods. So the faith and worship are related. Similarly, the three gunas also influences our choice of food, the method of our charity, and the kind of sacrifices we perform. And these are all influenced by the three gunas. So we have seen sacrifice in Sattva Gun, that means sacrifice performed as per the direction of the scriptures, by chanting of the Vedic mantras, at proper place, proper time, and with the due dakshina for the priest who performed the sacrifice. And ultimately with complete faith in the whole process, that is the sacrifice performed in Sattva Gun. And other Rajo Gun, that means it is performed just for name, fame, and sometimes even grudgingly. So then that kind of sacrifices in the mode of passion. And in the mode of ignorance, Tamogun, sacrifices are performed without any faith, first of all, and not giving any dakshina to the priest, or not distributing prasadam to the people. So therefore, the first thing, not having faith in the whole process, that itself major defect in the sacrifice. So anyway, having described all these types of sacrifices, but maybe even the sacrifice in the Sattva Gun, now in the present Kali Yuga, even that will not be very effective, because you will not have the pure ingredients and proper brahmanas to chant the mantra, etc. In Kali Yuga, very difficult to find. So therefore, considering all these limitations, the Supreme Lord Krishna in his form as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us the most simple, easiest sacrifice, that is Nama Sankirtana. Sacrifice is yajna. So yajna, Sankirtana yajna is the prescribed yajna for the present yuga, Kali Yuga, in which we are presently living. So therefore, we need not put much effort to perform this other yajna. If you take up this Sankirtana yajna with faith, sincerity, with utmost care, that will bring all success, both material and spiritual success. One can attain simply by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra as a individual sadhana or practice, and with family members coming together, and they can, same Hare Krishna mantra can be chanted in a like a bhajan. But the idea is to aim is to glorify the Supreme Lord and develop Krishna consciousness. So giving up the bodily consciousness, we should develop Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means we are not this body, we are Atma, eternally connected with the Supreme Spirit Krishna. So the our goal of life is to get out of this material existence. And I am doing this to please the Supreme Lord, so that by His mercy, I will be able to get out of this material existence. So that is the whole purpose. So anyway, so therefore, taking food in Sattva-gun, doing charity in Sattva-gun, developing, so all this will help to advance in Krishna consciousness. So we should not stay in the lower guna. So therefore, Krishna explained food, charity, faith, worship, sacrifices, and similarly, he also informed us of the austerity of speech, austerity of the body, austerity of the mind. So all this will help in purifying our existence. And finally, he concluded saying that the Om Tat Sat, that is the complete Vedic statement, it represents the Om represents the Supreme Lord, and Tat represents the energy, and Sat represents the Supreme Lord Vishnu and also the devotee. So like that, we have seen yesterday how the three gunas influences our various aspects or attributes, and how we can achieve success. So by uttering the Om Tat Sat in the beginning of the mantra or in the beginning of sacrifice, etc., one can attain success, because Om Tat Sat is impersonal representation of the Supreme Lord. So this is what we have seen yesterday. So today we are going to see chapter 18. Now, chapter 18 is actually a summary of what all Krishna has discussed up to 17 chapters. So it contains the most important conclusions, because though he summarizes, but Krishna has given the conclusion in the 18th chapter to emphasize the goal of surrender. Ultimately, the individual jiva has to surrender to the Supreme Spirit Krishna. That is the most important understanding of Bhagavad-gītā. The essence of the previous chapter is taught in the final chapter. In this final chapter, 18th chapter, Krishna summarizes each of the previous chapters and gives the conclusion. So therefore, in the second chapter of Bhagavad-gītā is titled as Contents of the Gita, summarized. And this chapter, though the topic is title is perfection of renunciation. So the perfection of renunciation is ultimately surrendering to Krishna. That is the perfection of renunciation. So, but still Krishna in this 18th chapter, he gives a summary of different sections. For example, in the section, of course it is not section in the actual Bhagavad-gītā, the acharyas or the devotees who have analyzed each chapters, they have, for our understanding, to enable better understanding of the Bhagavad-gītā, they have given sections like of different themes. So that it is also visible, understandable if you read the slokas and purport of the whole chapter. So in that sense, first to 18th sloka, here Krishna summarizes the two sections. That is, I already told, we have discussed in the previous classes, the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad-gītā discusses about Karma Yoga, and Krishna recommends Nishkama Karma Yoga. Similarly, the last 6 chapters discusses about Jnana Yoga, and Krishna recommends us to give up the impression or idea that we are the doer. So these are the two things that he further summarizes here. While summarizing in the Karma Yoga, actually in the first 6 slokas summarizes the Karma Yoga, and the last, that is 1 to 6, Krishna gives a summary of the Karma Yoga. In that, actually the chapter starts with Arjuna asking a question. I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation and the renounced order of life. That is, what is Tyaga? That is the purpose of renunciation. And what is the renounced order of life? That is Sannyasa. So this is what Arjuna asked. And Krishna, in responding or clarifying this point, he in the first 5 slokas, starting from 2 to 5, he summarizes he gives a summary of the first 6 chapters, Karma Yoga. So Krishna, in explaining the summary, he he does not give his opinion immediately. He says some people, great people have told like this: giving up activities that are based on material desire is what great learned men call. So he does not say his own opinion. So first he gives the opinion of great learned men. So the great learned men have told giving up the activities that are based on material desire is what is called sannyasa. So this is the opinion of the learned men. So giving up the activities, that is renouncing the action, is called sannyasa. This is the opinion of some people. Some other learned people say giving up the results, that is renouncing the fruits of action, is the wise called as tyaga. So like that, they have a differentiation of sannyasa and tyaga. But Krishna he also gives his opinion after expressing the opinion of other learned men. Krishna says, now hear my judgment about renunciation. Renunciation is declared in the scripture to be of 3 kinds. Krishna again says there are 3 kinds of renunciation according to the 3 gunas, etc. But Krishna, he doesn't go into those details, but Krishna says acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance. These are not to be given up. They must be performed at every stage, because he says the sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great souls who are very well advanced in spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness. Even they are advised or recommended to continue the acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance, because these activities purify even the great souls. The great souls are already purified, and they get further purified by this continued performance of sacrifice and charity and penance. So therefore Krishna says this action must be continued. So all these activities must be performed without attachment, without expectation of result. This is what Krishna recommends, that is activities themselves should not be stopped, but the results must be given up, or the results must be sacrificed. So without attachment, or without any expectation of results, then why at all I should perform? So perform as a matter of duty. So this is what the summary of the first 6 chapters, that is Karma Yoga chapter. And then 7 to 12, Krishna gives a summary of the Jnana Yoga. So here Krishna, while discussing this, prescribed duty should never be renounced. If one gives up his prescribed duties because of illusion, such renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance. So even renunciation, already told that there are 3 types of renunciation. It's already gave a hint. Now hear my judgment about renunciation. Renunciation is declared in the scriptures to be of 3 kinds. So yes, in the intervening slokas, he established that the sacrifice, charity, penance should not be given up. And now he explains the different types of renunciation. Renunciation in the mode of ignorance. If one gives up his prescribed duties because of illusion, if he gives up, that is in the mode of ignorance. And if somebody gives up his prescribed duty because it involves troublesome, it is troublesome, or it involves bodily discomfort, so such renunciation is considered to be more in the mode of passion. And such action never leads to elevation of renunciation. So though they may be wearing some dress of renunciant, they internally in the heart they are not renounced. So they will not have real elevation of sannyas or renunciation. So Krishna makes this very clear. But when one performs his prescribed duty, he reconfirms. Krishna reconfirms one who performs his prescribed duty only because it is ought to be done. It is his duty, so he has to carry it out. He has to carry out. But he renounces the fruits or all material association and attachment to the fruits. So that means he renounces the fruits of action. Such renunciation is said to be in the mode of goodness. So like this, Krishna very clearly delineated, explained the 3 types of renunciation. And in fact, Krishna further says the intelligent renouncer who is situated in the mode of goodness. So intelligent renouncer is one who renounces the fruits of action. And he is neither head full of inauspicious work nor attached to auspicious work, and he has no doubt about work. And he further says it is indeed impossible for embodied persons like us to give up any of these activities. He who renounces the fruits of action is called one who has truly renounced. So, so what is to be renounced is karma phala tyaga. So for one who is not renounced, if someone who has not renounced the fruits of action, then he will have threefold fruits of action: desirable, undesirable, and mixed result will accrue after the death. For those who are in the renounced order of life, those who have renounced the fruit and perform the activity just as a matter of duty, for them there is no such result to suffer or enjoy. That means that is no reaction. So that is why that is the result of Nishkama Karma Yoga. So Krishna recommends this in this first section. And starting from 13 to 18, Krishna, he gives his opinion of the okay, this is just illustrations highlighting the points what we are discussing now. So one person sitting and doing jnana, the others are karma yogis. So the other people who are active, they represent the karma yoga yogis, and sitting and meditating, he represents the jnana yogi. So the summary of karma and jnana yoga is given in the first 18 slokas. So it starts with Arjuna's doubt or question, and Krishna is giving his final opinion. Now we have just seen Krishna's final opinion on the karma yoga. Now, who is responsible for action? That is the jnana yoga part. So that's what we are going to see. So the Arjuna's question is, what is sannyasa and what is renunciation? So Krishna already explained this, we have already seen. What is our life lesson? That means life lesson is keep asking till you are fully clear and convinced. So though Arjuna, he has asked similar question earlier, still there were some small doubts. So he wants to get all those doubts fully clear. So he raised this question. And once we are convinced, then that it's time to get into action or to follow or implement. So no question asked, no reason given thereafter. So all questions must be asked before getting into action. So this is all these activities should be performed. This is what Krishna we already discussed. Without attachment or any expectation of result. They should be performed as a matter of duty. O son of Purta, that is my final opinion. So Krishna has given his opinion. Now coming to the jnana part, Arjuna, Krishna says, this is starting from 13 through 18. Here Krishna summarizes the last 6 chapters. The last 6 chapters of Bhagavad-gītā is on jnana yoga. So here Krishna gives his conclusion. Of course, he gives his conclusion. He also quotes the Vedanta Sutra. According to Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all actions. Any action, to complete an action, there are 5 factors responsible, or 5 causes responsible. So now Krishna says, please learn from me. So Krishna says these 5 causes are adhisthanam, tada karta, karanam, pritak vidam, vividacha pritak sheshta, daivam, Saivatra Panchamam. These are the 5 factors or 5 causes for any action. So in this adhisthanam, that means the place of action. So for the Atma, the body is the field, that is the place of action. So therefore our material body, that is one of the cause. Because the Atma, even if he wants, without the body, he cannot act. So the body is one of the cause. Then the performer, karta. Karta is the performer. So performer is the individual soul. And then karanam. Karanam, because we need instruments to perform any action. If you want to write a book, then you need to have the intelligence that maybe physically you have to have a hand to write with a pen or type in a typewriter, etc. So the karanam means instruments. Instruments are all our various senses. They are the instruments. So our body, adhisthanam, then the individual soul, then all the instruments can be within our control. Maybe the various senses. It can also be other instruments. Pen is an instrument, paper is an instrument. So whatever that instrument that helps in executing the action, all can be considered as karanam. So karanam cha pratak vidam, different types of instruments. Then Krishna says chesta. Chesta is the endeavor. So endeavor means we take a conscious decision to perform something. If that endeavor or the decision to do something, maybe we decide to cook or decide to ride a bicycle. So that decision, if it is not in that place, then the action will not manifest. So the endeavor is also one of the cause. If all the four are present, if there is no permission or approval from the Supreme Lord, Daivam, then it cannot happen. So the karta may be there, place may be there, instrument may be there, the endeavor may be there. So unless the endeavor is approved by Daivam, that is the super soul, then the whole action cannot take place. So therefore Krishna here he lists down all these 5 causes of any action. So first of all, we have to understand that we are not the only doer. So there are 4 other doers involved in any action. So therefore Krishna stresses that these 5 causes or factors are the true causes of action. So therefore, whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, and speech is caused by these 5 factors. So when the action may be performed by our body, that means that action may manifest physically, or the action may happen within the mind. So it is happening in a subtler way or in the form of speech. So all these, whether the body action performed by body, mind, or speech, and these 5, without these 5 factors, 5 causes, even whether the action is gross or subtle, it cannot manifest. So therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, if anyone thinks neglecting or forgetting the other 4 doers, if we think I am the only doer, not considering the other factors, he is certainly not very intelligent. So intelligent person will know all the 5 causes. And therefore, this person who lacks intelligence, he cannot see things as they are. So this is what Krishna says. So therefore, the kartagam iti manyate. So there's some people who are ahankar and who are in damba, tarpa, that kind of people, they think I am the doer. Kartagam iti manyate. And this Krishna in chapter 3 referred to such kind of thinking. Kartagam manyate, as it fit only for vimudas. So foolish people who lack intelligence, they only have this kind of thinking. Karta agam, I am the karta, I am the doer, iti manyate. Ishvara agam, agam bo. he is characterized by such thinking. So anyway, but next Krishna contrasts such a foolish thinker with an intelligent person. So this is unintelligent person. He thinks he is the doer, and that is therefore he is not able to, he cannot see things as they are. Now Krishna, he contrasts the one who has got a good vision. So this person is a blind person because he is unable to see things as they are. Blind are we if we can't see the other factors of accomplishment of an action. So there are 5 causes. We are not even more than one cause. So we are only one of the 5 factors or one of the 5 causes. That means our contribution is only 1/5. So let me not become too proud of my achievements, nor too depressed for my failures. If we fail, because we only share 1/5 of the responsibility, if we succeed, there also we get only 1/5 of the reason for the success. Okay. Therefore, Krishna, and we will continue. Little more points are there. So one who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled. Suppose if somebody who is able to see all the 5 causes, he does not consider himself as the only cause. He considers all the 5 causes, but his actions are not motivated by ahankar or false ego, and his intelligence is not entangled, thinking that I am the doer, I want to achieve, I am the enjoyer. That kind of entanglement is also not there. With this clear understanding, that means not motivated by false ego, not intelligence free from entanglement. Even if he kills, he does not kill because he is not bound by his actions. So this is very, very important. So this is what Krishna says. Just by accepting the doership or considering ourselves the doer, we become responsible for the results and the karma and the good, bad or mixed reactions we have to bear. Here in this verse, the Lord informs Arjuna the desire not to fight arises from false ego, because here Krishna says one who is not motivated by false ego to do some action, and here Arjuna's desire not to fight, not to fight is also an action. How fighting is an action, not to fight is also action when it is really warranted. Not giving up a fight is also action. It is akarma. It is against injunctions. So therefore, in this verse, the Lord informs Arjuna that desire not to fight arises from false ego. So Arjuna thought himself to be the doer of action. That is why he thought, if I do, then I am responsible and I will be involved in the sinful reaction like that. But he did not consider the supreme sanction, the other factors. And of all the 5 factors, the most important factor is the approval of the super soul. So super soul is the final authority, is the most important cause. So that's why Krishna here, he gives one who is not motivated by false ego and intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, does not kill. So therefore Krishna very clearly brought out that the doership, wrongly thinking I am the only doer, that puts us into all the trouble, and that's how we get entangled. So far he has summarized the first 6 chapters and the last 6 chapters. Now, in the third theme is the 3 modes of nature: tamogun, satogun, rajogun, tamogun. It controls all activities. Whatever activities we do, they are controlled by these 3 modes of material nature. So, and Krishna here again, he gives the three types of knowledge, three types of action, three types of worker, three types of understanding. All these, our knowledge, our action, our work, our understanding, our determination, our happiness, all are of three types. So the modes of material nature influences our knowledge, action, our work, understanding, everything. All these are affected or influenced by the three gunas. So knowledge, Krishna says, the knowledge by which one undivided spirit soul or one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all living entities. So when we see all the living entities, they are in every living entity there is a spirit soul. That spirit soul is of same nature. Though they are divided into innumerable forms, so somebody may be in the bird form or animal form or human form or form of a deva, reptile, fish. So various form, and the bodies are of a different shape and nature. But within the body, the nature of the jivatma, the atma is same. You should understand to be in the mode of goodness, that knowledge. So that knowledge by which we are able to see, though there are the external appearance of the bodies are different, and the atma inside is of same nature. This understanding, this knowledge is in the mode of goodness. Knowledge by which one sees that in every different body there is a different type of living entity. In animal body there is animal type of atma, human body human type of atma. This kind of knowledge is in the mode of rajogun, and that knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work, as that all in all without knowledge of the truth, and which is very meager, is said to be in the mode of darkness. So like this, Krishna gives the three types of knowledge, three types of action, three types of worker, and three types of understanding, and three types of determination, and also three types of happiness. Coming to happiness, Krishna says, that which in the beginning appears to be just like a poison, but at the end it is just like a nectar. That happiness is mode of goodness. So Krishna says that which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. Whereas the happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with the sense objects, and which appears like nectar at first, and but poison at the end, is said to be of nectar, nature of passion. That happiness is of the nature of rajogun. And the happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be of the nature of ignorance. Like that, Krishna, he gives for all the five things: knowledge, understanding, action, determination, happiness. All these five various our life attributes are of three types, depending on the nature we share. So it is the three guna that influences our knowledge, our action, our determination. So these three guna is invincible or invisible. So we will not be able to see with our eyes, or we cannot perceive with our senses, but we can understand from the effect. So that way, the three gunas can be perceived or realized by the influence it creates, or because we know cause and effect. If this is there, then this is the effect. So from the cause and effect, one can understand what is the type of guna present in a person. So it is an invisible web, and I am completely entangled. So this is the understanding. Now when I can see, now through the Shastra, through the scripture, we are able to see we are entangled and we are bound by these three gunas. So we have to work to get ourselves free from this. So the happiness in three modes: poison at the beginning, that means goodness, happiness in the mode of goodness. It will look as poison at the beginning, because our spiritual austerities, it will be very difficult when we begin. But at the end, when we realize the fruits are achieve the success or clear consciousness or Krishna consciousness, then ends like nectar, and it awakes self-realization in us. Whereas the happiness in passion, it starts like a nectar in the beginning and ends like a poison at the end. It arises from sense gratification. Ignorance, happiness derived from tamogun. They are always under illusion that arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion. So in our search for happiness, of course, that is the only purpose. Everyone, every jivatma wants to attain this particular goal, happiness. So let's not forget to check whether it's a long-lasting happiness or short-lived happiness. So long-lasting must be beneficial and must be conducive for spiritual life. So only in the spiritual platform we can achieve long-lasting happiness. So Krishna, after explaining the 5 items: knowledge, action, determination, and work, and this happiness, and they are all of 3 types depending on the 3 gunas. Now Krishna, he also gives a small summary. There is no being existing that is not tasti prithvivyam va. In this prapanja, in this world, there is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary system, which is freed from these 3 modes born of material nature. So that means Krishna says the 3 gunas, it is all pervading in the material universe, and everyone is some way or other under the influence of the 3 gunas. So no one can escape the 3 gunas. So now Krishna gives how we can get promoted or get elevated from sakama karma to nishkama karma yoga in the slokas starting from 41 to 55. So in this, of course, again we have subsections. Krishna talks of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. These 3 varnas, they are distinguished by the qualities born of their nature, of their own nature, in accordance with the material modes. So somebody is Brahmana, that means the Rajogun will be prominent in that person, like that. So accordingly, they have different responsibilities and duties. So and qualities. So Krishna says peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which Brahmanas work. So a Brahmana should possess. Anyone who possesses these qualities should be considered as a Brahmana. Not by birth. So that is a very wrong conception. So Krishna already told this Chaturvarnya Maya Sreshtam, Guna Karma Vibhagasha. We have seen this in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā. So the present method of the present practices of caste system in India is far removed from the original Daiva Varnashrama system the Supreme Lord has established. So it is only by qualities. Anyone who is found to possess these qualities: peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. In whichever country, whichever family he is born, he must be accepted as such as a Brahmana. And similarly, anyone who possesses heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, leadership, these are the qualities by which Kshatriya work. And farming, cow protection, business are the natural work for the Vaishyas, and the labor and service to the others, that is the qualities and engagement for the Sudra. So like that, Krishna has given very clearly, again, all these are the various qualities and connected actions or duties. So, but the greatness of this Daivi Varnashrama system is, it is not that only the Brahmana will go back to Godhead or attain kingdom because his qualities are good and his actions are higher level. It's not like that. Krishna says, by following his qualities of work. So whatever quality we naturally possess, by performing or acting in that level, every man can become perfect. Now, please hear from me how this can be done. But each one, whether the Brahmana, or Kshatriya, or Vaishya, or Sudra, because these are all not the Atma is not a Sudra. At the present moment, his external covering, the body, maybe subtler and physical body, is in that state of consciousness or state of level. So that Atma is not a Sudra, Atma is not a Brahmana, Atma is not a Kshatriya. So this must be understood clearly. So because now we are in the conditioned state, how in the conditioned state we can get elevated and achieve spiritual success? That is the point. So to work, but whether Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, through their work, through their respective actions, they should try to please the Supreme Lord by worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings, who is all pervading. A man can attain perfection through performing his own work. So in fact, Krishna says one should engage in his own work. So that work that born out of his qualities, that work only he should engage in. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. So therefore, whatever our nature, whatever our qualities we possess, and the duties that whatever duty or accompanying duty, only in that kind of duty one should engage. So in fact, Krishna says every endeavor is covered with some fault. Just as fire is covered by smoke, every work is also covered by some mistakes or faults. Even Brahmana's work also covered with fault. Arjuna should, because why Krishna says, because I am Kshatriya, my work involves killing people in the battle. So therefore it involves fire, whereas Brahmana work does not involve defect or fault. No, Krishna says every work, Brahmana's work, Kshatriya work, Vaishya work, Sudra work, every work involves some fault. So therefore you cannot avoid this. So even if such work is full of fault, there is no problem. So that work should be performed because that is your nature and you should perform. And but how we can free from these reactions? Then dovetailing our work with Krishna, perform your duty for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. By that way, we can get relieved from the reactions or the sins. So Krishna, like that, gradually, he says, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain the supreme perfectional stage or Brahman stage. So Krishna gives this way by working for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord with such a knowledge, understanding, both karma, jnana. So such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. So like that, Krishna gives his one who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman. So this is in the last 54, 55, 55th sloka, Krishna gives this. One can understand me as I am, as Krishna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Krishna says, only through devotional service I can be understood as I am. So I will also seeing all this through the slides. So for social order and the corresponding duties. By executing the respective duties that corresponds to the four social order, one can attain perfection through work. And by dovetailing that work or executing those work as service to Krishna, then one can attain the supreme. This is the ideal one. So the four social orders, as you can see, this is in a modern way of understanding the social order. So in the top left picture, there are a lot of many intelligent people are sitting and discussing, and they may be discussing their national issue or international issues. They bring out issue guidelines or policies like that. So they are Brahmanas. So here in the right side, Mr. Obama, who was the former president of US. So he's a king. He was the king of the prime minister, president of America. He represents king. He's a Kshatriya. And Ambani is shown here representing businessman, Vaishya. And in the fourth picture, we see a lot of people wearing this safety dresses, helmet and dress suitable for working inside a factory. So they are all the Sudras, so laborers. So like that in the modern society also, we still have these four social orders. In any organization, without these four, the society or organization cannot function. So though we may not use the name Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, but they continue, they are present maybe in different names, but the functions are the same. Okay, so how to get this job satisfaction? So job satisfaction we can get by picking up our occupation that suits our nature. So pick up the occupation suitable for one's own nature, which is acquired as a result of the modes one associated with. So we have some nature or qualities as per the gunas we possess. So if the occupation and the nature, if they match, then the person will excel in that field. If there is a mismatch, it will be very stressful for that person to continue in that job. So therefore, perfection through work is can be achieved by this. It's better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform imperfectly, than to accept another's. So therefore, that's what we have seen in this previous slide, matching the nature and the occupation. So life lesson is we are all born original and unique. No one person is similar to any other person. Every person, even sometimes people say there are 7 people looking similar or same. They externally they may have same appearance, but internally all the 7 will be 7 different persons. So original and unique, each one. Don't try to become anyone's copy. Remain as you are. Original is beautiful. So like this, Krishna explains through our own work, prescribed duties, executing the prescribed duty for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, one can attain perfection. Then in the 55, how one can know Krishna. So Krishna says, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. When one is in full consciousness of me, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. So there are two things required. One is understanding Krishna as he is, and that is the basic requirement. And then we can enter into the through developing devotion, then we can enter into the kingdom of God. So when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, so through bhakti, we can develop the Krishna consciousness. And once we develop Krishna consciousness, then we become eligible to enter into the kingdom of God. So Bhakti Yoga is the key. So what is the key? Because we want to open the door of Golok or Vaikunda to enter into the kingdom of God. So the key to the kingdom of God is devotional service. That is the astonishing place that Supreme Abode, Krishna described, Nathat Vasayate Surya, that is a very astonishing place, which is eternal, peaceful and blissful. That is the destination we want to attain. And to open that door is, the key is the devotional service. So love of God, the 56 to 66, and having informed all this other process of Krishna here, he describes the Krishna consciousness as Krishna Prema activities. So in 56 to 16, working in devotional service, Krishna talks about practical application of Krishna's instructions for Arjuna. Therefore, Krishna here he gives, in all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. So this is a very, very clear, explicit statement. Krishna wants us to depend on him and work always under his protection. In such devotional service, be fully consciousness of me. What will be the result of following Krishna's instruction, and what if you do not follow this instruction of Krishna? If you become conscious of me, and you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. And if you, however, if you do not work in such consciousness, that is, if you do not follow Krishna's instructions, but if you do not follow Krishna's instructions, then we will be acting through our ego, false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. Krishna says, if you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through your false ego, you will be lost. If you do not act according to my direction and do not fight, then you will be falsely directed by your nature. You will have to be engaged in warfare. So Krishna explained this point further in the other slokas. So therefore, ultimately Krishna wants Arjuna to follow his instructions. So in all activities, and just depend on me. Under illusion, now you are declining to act according to my direction. So in the beginning, when Krishna asked him to fight, Krishna refused to fight, and Krishna says, you are now declining to act according to my direction. But compelled by the work born of your own nature, your nature is not that of Brahmana or Vaishya or anything else. You are a Kshatriya, that is your nature for sure. And even if not now, maybe some other time you will fight. So compelled by the nature work born of your own nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kunti. So Krishna says, who, the Supreme Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart and is directing the wantings of all living entities who are seated on a machine made of material energy. So here Krishna says, who is controlling the illusion and rotating everyone through birth and death on the wheel of samsara. So Krishna says, I am the one who is seated in everyone as the Paramatma, and the Jivatma is sitting in the body, which is like a machine offered by the material nature. So like that Krishna, he talks, and he gives love of God, that is a ray of hope, and surrender to Krishna is the ultimate one. So Krishna, in all activities, just depend upon me, work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. So a ray of hope is that if you depend on Krishna, follow the principles of Bhagavad-gītā under the guidance of a bona fide guru, and we perform acts while remembering Krishna. So this is what we are to do. And what is the result? We get personal protection from the Supreme Lord, and we can pass over all obstacles in our material life, and Krishna personally takes us to the Supreme Abode. So this is what the ray of hope for all of us who are in the material world now. So let us be very attentive and alert to this hope-giving call from the Lord of our life, Krishna. He is calling, he is waiting, he is assuring, let us respond. So if we disobey and if we follow our own false ego, then we will be lost. So we will not be saved, so we will be lost. So therefore, the lesson is, I am not this dream. I am a spiritual truth, Atma. So I have a different business. So our business is to understand God and surrender to Him. So that understanding is what we gain from this whole Bhagavad-gītā. So therefore, giving all this, Krishna finally concludes in 66 sloka. This is called the Charama sloka. Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam saranam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishami maachusaham. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So this is the conclusion. So surrender unto Krishna, or surrender only to Krishna. Then we will have transcendental peace, and we will attain supreme eternal abode, and will be freed from all sinful reactions. So Krishna will always protect minimum efforts and maximum result. So end result is our attainment to the kingdom of God, Goloka. So who can receive? One who distribute this knowledge. Krishna further says in the 67 to 71, four slokas, whoever distribute this knowledge to others, one who studies Bhagavad-gītā, one who listens with faith, all these auspicious activities, they can achieve supreme auspiciousness. So who can receive? Devoted, those who are devoted to Krishna, who are not envious of Krishna, who are friend to Krishna, who are self-controlled, they can receive this knowledge of Bhagavad-gītā. And one who distribute this knowledge, Krishna himself says, for one who explained this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. So therefore, please engage yourself, learn Bhagavad-gītā, and distribute this knowledge to others. And now let us, that's the real secret, inspire people to read Bhagavad-gītā. While others get the most wonderful knowledge, you become dearer to the Supreme Lord. So studying Bhagavad-gītā, Krishna says, is worshipping Krishna by intelligence. That in fact it is jnana yajna. So swadhyaya yajna. So one who studies Bhagavad-gītā, he is performing worship of the Supreme Lord through his intelligence. anyone who listens Bhagavad-gītā with faith, he will become free from all sinful reactions, and he will attain to the auspicious planets. So these are the results of studying, listening Bhagavad-gītā. And Sanjaya finally concludes saying this verse. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Stri Vijaya Bhutir, Durvanitir Mathir Mamaka. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, Yoga Ishvara, and wherever there is Arjuna, Dhanurdhara, so the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, Stri, victory, Vijaya, extraordinary power, Vijaya, Bhutir, extraordinary power, and Dhruva Niti, and morality, Niti. So all these results will be present. So then certainly opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. So all this will be present wherever Krishna and Arjuna are worshipped. So this is my opinion. So that's what Sanjaya says. And all we have to do is to be in the company of Krishna and Arjuna through their sacred conversation. Hare Krishna. So we have just completed 18 chapters of Bhagavad-gītā. I thank all the devotees who have participated and attended all the 18 days in the early morning. That itself is a big austerity. So you will all be receiving the blessings of the Supreme Lord because hearing Bhagavad-gītā is also a yajna. So that way we are all fortunate, and I thank all the devotees for giving me this opportunity to do this small seva of sharing whatever I learned from the books of Srila Prabhupada and whatever I heard from my Guru Maharaj and other senior devotees. Because I am just only an instrument, whatever I discussed, I spoke, I communicated, these are all I received from various sources of the devotees. So I thank the Supreme Lord and Panchatattva, and Srila Prabhupada and all Vaishnavas for having for giving us their mercy so that we could complete this 18 days program. Okay. I will make those three announcements. There are three announcements. The WhatsApp link, WhatsApp group is formed for all the devotees who registered for this Bhagavad-gītā for Life program. They will be sending you the link so you can join the group for receiving further communication about future programs. That is one thing. And the next week, 5th or 6th, we will have one session program to review, to have an overview of all the 18th chapter in one session. And then the second week of June, we will be announcing and course details of higher advanced course on Bhagavad-gītā, and those who are interested can register for that course. These are the three announcements I have to make. So thank you all devotees and participants. Now if you have any questions or some comments, points, so you can ask.
Mataji, you can ask your question.
Okay, good morning, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
It has been a wonderful experience, and I think it's been very nice to listen to this first thing in the morning. It really starts off the day with good thoughts. And I want to thank you, and I think your way of explaining is so nice, very simple to understand, and I think as elaborate as it needs to be, because the Gita is such an elaborate text. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have one question and one request. One
Yeah.
question, see, the whole of Gita talks about a sense of detachment. But then right through, there is an underlying thought of attachment to Lord Krishna, attachment to the Supreme Lord. So do you see that in any way as a contradiction?
Yeah, it is not a contradiction, it is a complementary aspect. Detachment from the material things and attachment to Krishna, both are needed. So we cannot develop attachment to Krishna without detaching ourselves from the material existence or material world. So
Okay.
that therefore the whole purpose is to develop attachment to Krishna.
Right, I understand. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
And then I had a little bit of an unusual request. So you're also doing a class from 11 to 12.
Yes, yeah, that is for Tamil speaking
So my
devotees.
mother-in-law is enrolled in it.
You
She
are
was
that.
originally, yeah, she was originally in the 3 to 4 p.m. and then I think that teacher is
Yeah,
unwell.
one of the devotee was handling that 3 to 4 class, Jagadananda Prabhu. So
Right.
he developed some throat pain. He could not continue the session. So I took some 2 days then, because I already have another class at 11 to 12. So we requested those devotees, Tamil speaking devotees, they can register or join the other 3. We have 3 Tamil classes, 11 to 12, and then evening 6 to 7 and 8 to 9. So anyone, depending on their suitability, they can join.
Yeah, so she is in the 11 to 12. She's been continuing to attend.
Oh,
but today,
she's
will you
attending.
be taking their classes?
I will be taking the 11 to 12. I am handling.
Yeah, I just want to make a request because she's completed 8 years today, sir.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's her birthday today, May 31st. I just wanted to request for you to share the Lord's blessings when she's in the class. It'll be a surprise to her and she'll be very happy.
What's her name, Mataji?
Her name is Mrs. Indumati.
Indumati. She is 8 years old.
80 today, May 31st.
Today? Oh, very good, very good. We will take her blessings today.
If it's possible, if you can,
I will announce to the. I announce to the members, devotees for attending, and they will
and
share.
send her and give her God's blessing. She'll be very, very happy. So I just wanted to keep her a surprise and make a request to you. So,
oh, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. If there are no other questions, comments, then we can close the session today. I thank all the devotees, participants who have attended all the 18 days program. So though we had a large number of people join in the first day, so last day we have only some 15, 16. But anyways, no problem. This is a good experience because through this you would have got some glimpses of the knowledge from Bhagavad-gītā. By further reading and continuing this effort, because Bhagavad-gītā is not a book to be, we cannot say I finish. So this is, we will always feel ourselves as a student, and further and more we read, and more knowledge Krishna will be revealing to us. So therefore it is a continuous process, continuous learning process. So therefore it is a very auspicious thing to read Bhagavad-gītā. So you will derive a lot of strength, happiness by reading Bhagavad-gītā. So I thank all the devotees for giving me this opportunity to be with you and share whatever I learned from the Srila Prabhupada's books and my Guru and other Vaishnavas. And thank you for all your blessings and participation. And I thank our Raja Prabhu for hosting this program every day. And he is not only hosting this program, he is hosting some 4 or 5 programs daily. So sparing his time for this program. I thank Raja Prabhu for this. Raja Prabhu, you want to share anything?
Yes, Prabhuji, I'm very happy, fortunate to get opportunity to do some seva. And thanks for that, Prabhuji. That's what I can share.
Okay. Hare Krishna. All the devotees will meet again.
Thank you, sir.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.